Welcome back to the Kiosk Presents. My guest today is Fred Sievert. He's a former president of the Fortune 100 company New York Life Insurance, and he's the author of God Revealed. Fred, welcome to the Kiosk Presents.
Thank you, Laurie. Glad to be with you.
So tell us what your book God Revealed is about.
Well, it's really a collection of encounters that I had with God over the course of my lifetime. I went back and revisited some of my prior experiences, really with an eye to when I was struggling and having financial difficulties or worried about job security. And I sort of rewound the tapes of those experiences and asked myself if how I got through it. You know, I survived it. Here I am today, having survived these experiences. And I asked myself the question, was God involved in lifting me up and carrying me through those episodes? And in doing that, I really discovered a number of stories that made it into my book, and hence the title God Revealed and the subtitle Revisit Your Past to Enrich Your Future, because I encourage my readers to do the same thing, to think back on their past and ask themselves the question, were there some events and experiences that were so improbable that they really weren't coincidences, they were more providential.
So how can these stories help others?
Well, I think by doing exactly what I just said, during the holidays in particular, the incidence rate of depression goes up and it can actually lead to suicide. And a lot of psychologists will tell you to, put that behind you, move on, look forward, be optimistic. But given my experience of discovering these episodes in the past where I really was convinced that God was part of the solution, it renewed my faith and renewed my hope for the future, and I think it can do the same for people during this holiday season.
So if someone's in a difficult place in life, it might be an uplifting book to read.
Exactly.
Do you need to believe in God to be able to read this book? Will people feel alienated if they don't have a strong faith?
No, I don't think so, because I'm very respectful of various faith traditions and beliefs, and even of atheists and agnostics. I think the book clearly does reinforce the faith of believers, and it renews people who may have stepped away from their faith and their religion. But I think it actually has a role for atheists and agnostics, because atheism itself is a belief system, and in my view requires a very strong belief and a strong faith that God does not exist. So I encourage the readers to read these stories and ask themselves the question, is the evidence in my 31 stories that God exists stronger or weaker the evidence you have that God doesn't exist? I don't expect to convert a lot of people, but I think they'll find it interesting. And in fact, some atheist friends of mine have found the book a very compelling and very interesting read.
Oh, great. So it's a good read for everybody.
I think so.
What memories make you feel fulfilled?
Well, I have one example that I'll give you that was really a business-related story where I went on a trip to India, and a joint venture partner, took me to a hospital, a cardiac facility, to observe a open heart surgery. And unbeknownst to me, they walked me into the operating room, and I was about 2 inches from the patient's head, and right in front of my face, no more than a couple of inches, was an open chest cavity with a beating heart. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. And that was a profound spiritual experience for me. It came at a time when I was thinking about going to divinity school, and it really reinforced my decision to go there, because I thought to myself, how can anyone not believe that this incredibly complex human organism wasn't divinely created? It really moved me and changed my attitude on life, and actually caused me to think to myself how often we don't get a glimpse of God. And now I take a different outlook on life, and I look around me every day and get glimpses of God. So that was a very profound experience for me.
Do you make New Year's resolutions at all?
I do, and in fact, I renew every year the same resolution, and I keep it every day. How many people can say that? The resolution is very simple. The resolution is that I want to live what I believe And I want to remind myself daily of my priorities. And my priorities, as I've articulated them many times, are my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife, my family, my job, and then my leisure and volunteer activity. And just by articulating that and reminding myself daily, it's a way to bring them back into balance. And I worry about and struggle with that inverting itself. And, in particular, not so much the leisure activity, because I never had time for that as president of a Fortune 100 company, but the job often would take top priority. But by reminding myself of that articulation of those priorities helped me to rebalance.
Fred Sievert, thank you so much for joining us here on the Kiosk Presents. Everybody, the book is God Revealed. Have a very good holiday season, Fred.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas to you.